I've got these really pretty feather bookmark molds to use today, but I'm not going to be making bookmarks. I'm going to be making some feather pens. So I've got some glitters I'm going to be using. I've got some alcohol inks. I've got some of the chrome powders from Let's Resin. Some of this, I can never remember what this is called. Some of this stuff, whatever that is. And I've got some of the holographic chameleon mica powders from Wendy at Toonfish Crafts. So let's start off by doing one of these in the chameleon flakes. So which colours shall I use? I think I'm not going to use the copper gold. I think I'll use the purple, magenta, turquoise, pink, green and mauve. I think I'll use these three. So I'm just going to start by getting these ready. Hopefully there'll be enough just in the lids so I can save these. So I'm just going to place some of this powder just in random places and then burnish that in. No, I've not got enough in the lid, so I'm just going to add some more. Just use my switching sponge there, and I'm just going to put them in random places and then burnish it all in. Let's put some more of that colour down there and up the top there. What colour haven't I used much? That one. Right, let's just use what's left on the brush and then just rub that all in. Let's put a little bit more down in there. Make sure I get up the sides of the moulds. Right, so that's the first one done. Pretty. Right, so let's pop that to one side and pop my lids on all of these before I knock them over. So the next one, I'm going to do a similar thing with the chrome powders from Let's Resin. So just dotting some of that into there, some of the green. Let's put some green down the bottom. Let's put some green there, and then go in with the, what colour is this one? Purple. And then pop some of that into there. Let's have a bit more of the purple up the top there. And then I'm just going to go over all of it just to make sure I've covered everywhere with the silver. And with mica powders, whatever colour that goes down first is the colour that will be seen. So that's that one done. Right, so I think it's time now to mix up some resin for the next two. So I'll get some resin mixed up and then I'll see you back in a minute. I've mixed up some Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy resin, and I think I'm going to do the reverse alcohol drop with one of these feathers. So I'm going to start by just dropping down some red and some blue ink. So just a few drops of that, and then let's pop a little bit there, and then I'm also just going to add a little bit of gold. Not too much, because gold tends to, or metallics tend to take over a bit. So I think that would do. And then I'm just going to pour the resin straight over the top. Pretty. Right, let that settle. Right, and then I'm just going to split up some into a separate pot. That's a little bit more, and then in this one, let's just move these two over. scoot that one over. And then in this one, I'm going to add some of these bits, whatever these are called. So just going to put a pinch of that into there. And then also some of the glitters. These are the Hemway glitters. This is the turquoise holographic. So some of that into there. And some of the sapphire blue. Pop some of that into there. And then finally the ocean blue holographic. And some of that into there. Right, and let's just give this a mix in. Hopefully that'll be nice and pretty. So we're just going to pour that into this one. Lots of lovely sparkly bits going into there. Just need to make sure I get enough down into that little tail end down there. Get some down into there. And then just top that one up. Right. That's that one done. So let's scoot that one over now. And then these two, these are just going to have black backs on them. So I'm just going to add some black pigment paste. Oops, that came out quick. Into there. And then get that mixed in. That's all nicely mixed in now. So I'm just going to fill up these last two with the black. Oops, that came out quick. And same with this one. I've made up way too much resin, as per normal. Just get some in to those little areas down there. Make sure it's in that little tip. Same with that one. Scoot that one down in there. Right, I need to find something for this now. What have I got to hand? Let's use a couple of these. So I think I use, let's do a little bit of the black, top and bottom. And then pour in all that lovely sparkly stuff in the middle. Just get that all into there. Look, that one needs topping up a little bit, so I'm just going to top that up with the black. Some down the bottom and some at the top there. Right, and right, what should we do with the rest of that? Let's add some more of the glittery stuff into the black. So a bit of that one and some of that one. Mix that in. That should be pretty. And then I'm just going to fill up this one with that. Right, okay, so I'll find something for that last little bit. Leave these to cure and then I'll see you back in a little while. These are all cured now, and the extras I've just made into some simple key rings and added some UV DTF stickers on them. So that's that one, and we've got that one, and then finally that one. So nice simple little easy keychains there. Right, so let's get these out and see how these are all looking. There we go. And doing the reverse alcohol drop, it does stain your moulds, but don't worry, because the next time you use them, it doesn't affect them. It's just whether or not you can live with them being stained, that's all. Right, so let's have a look. Right, so that was the lovely Toompish Crafts powders. Isn't that beautiful? Lovely colours going on in there. That's the one with the chrome powders from Let's Resin. Again, very pretty. That's our little glittery one. That's lovely and sparkly like that. And then our alcohol drop one. Again, very pretty. Right, so I think let's start with this one, because I know for definite, because this has got gold in it. So I want to add a bit of gold detail to the stem, or whatever you call this bit on a feather. I don't know what you call it. I'm sure it's got a name, but I can't think what it is. So we're just going to add some of that detail to there. And then I've got a thinner chrome pan, and I think I'm just going to highlight some of these areas in here. Not all of them, just some of them, I think. So add some of that in there. Some down the bottom here, just in random places. Let's put one in that section there as well. And then the same the other side. Do some across here as well. I think that will probably do. Let's do a couple down the bottom there. Right, so that's that one. Pretty. Right, and what should we do for this one? Maybe, yeah, maybe gold again for that one. So I'll just pop you on a quick fast forward while I do this one. And then I think with the other two, I'll do silver. Right, so that's all that detail finished on all the 4 feathers. So I'm just going to leave that to dry for a bit before we move on to the next bit. These are all ready for their pens now, so let's pop 3 of those to one side and just have this one. So I've taken the pen section just straight out of the pen there, just pulling that out. And I'm going to attach that to the back of the feather using some of the Let's Resin UV bonding resin. So I'm going to start by adding some, just get that lined up. So I'm going to put a blob in there first, so a little bit over the top there, just to hold that in place. And this UV bonding resin only takes about 10 seconds to cure, so not long. Right, and then I'm just going to work my way along, just curving that over, and then putting some over the top there. Hold that into place and cure that. I need to add some more onto that bit there. So just add a bit more. I didn't put enough on this side. So cure that one. And then with some normal UV hard type UV resin, I'm just going to top up all the rest of the back of the feather, which will then again hold that pen into place. So just filling up all the back. I need to get another pot of resin. Might have enough. Just give it a, get those air bubbles out. Right, let's see if I've got enough there. So I'm just going to flick that over to the edge and get a dome on the back of there. Make sure I've got it down by the actual pen bit, down the front there. Taking it to the edges. Probably do need a little bit more resin in there because it's starting to pull away a little bit. Right, and I'm just going to do the same to the other side, and I just need to add a little bit more down there, and then again just flicking that out to the edges, sealing in that pen, a little bit down on this bit here, take some from that bit, doesn't need a lot down that bit. Right, I think that's it all covered at the back now. So I'm just going to cure that. So I'm going to start off by curing it up a little bit higher, and then after about a minute I'll lower it down and continue the cure for about 2 minutes. This is all cured now, and I've done the same to the other 3, so they're all done as well. And I've also drilled a little hole in the top of the feather. So next I've got some tassels and I've got some little charms. So let's do the silver ones first. So I'm just going to take some jump rings. Start off with a larger one, opening it by twisting it towards me and not that way, and then put that through that top hole, and then close that back up. So that's that one, and I'll do the same with the other silver one while I've got that size out. Pop that into there, and then close that one up. And then with the next size down, this one, I'm going to take 2 of those for each and join 2 together, and then add that one to that one. So we've now got 3 in a row. That's that one there. Right, so with the last one, I should have left that open that one back up again, and then I'm going to add blue charm to that one, and then also a little, well, blue tassel and then a blue charm. So pop that on there and then close that one back up. So then it's got, put a little tassel at the top there. Lovely, so that's that one done. So I'm going to do the same with all the others. So I'll quickly put you on a fast forward while I do this. So that's all my pens with their tassels on. So that's that one. And then we've got our pink and blue one. A little glittery one. Pretty. And then the chrome powder one. No, it's not. That's the chrome powder one. This is the Team Pish Crafts powders. So let's see if they work okay. Let's try blue. Blue's my favourite, so let's try this one. It does sit in your hand really nice, actually. So thank you so much for watching my video today, and stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.